A quick thank you for checking out this video, and now let's get into the review of this Dual XDCPA73w, the nearly perfect head unit for me. Why is it nearly perfect? Well, let's get into it. When I was searching for a head unit, I wanted something that had wireless Apple CarPlay and a volume knob, which apparently is impossible to find nowadays. The head unit functions relatively well. It boots up okay. It's got this little graphic. Has some decent functionality. The build quality is half decent. It's not horrible. It's not great. But this is my work truck, so I didn't really need anything super fancy. Now let's get into the flaws. Intermittently, this device will randomly restart and go to this screen and kick it out of CarPlay, and then it'll randomly go back into CarPlay and then out and then back into CarPlay. And it can go weeks without doing this, or it can do it every 5 minutes or so, every 10 minutes. It's so random, it doesn't make any sense. I've contacted Dual customer support multiple times, and all they did was tell me to mail it back in and they would send me another one. However, I believe the issue is with the firmware, so they need to update it to make it work. If it didn't have these issues, I would love this head unit. Does what it's supposed to do. Recreates the sound decently. The preamp voltage is decent. I think it was advertised as 4 volts and it's 3.8, something like that. So it's pretty close. Makes my sub hit okay. But again, the biggest thing for me was having a physical volume knob. I grew up having volume knobs and I'm just obsessed with them. I just like being able to quickly turn it up and turn it down without having to sit there and push something up and down, or try and tap on a screen, because then your screen breaks and now you can't turn your volume up and down as quickly as you did before. The display itself is pretty decent. Doesn't look bad. Maps, I gotta enable that on my second phone. But the maps display properly. Again, the head unit is pretty solid. If it didn't have these software issues and this rebooting issue that it does, again, so intermittent that it's almost more frustrating than if it just did it consistently every 10 minutes or something. It could be working fine for a week, and then it'll restart itself 42 times in a row every 2 to 5 minutes. Again, I've contacted Dual support. They're not willing to do anything about it. So I'm just giving up. I'm gonna get a different head unit. Might end up having to just drop $500-600 on a head unit that has a volume knob and wireless Apple CarPlay. So if you're thinking about buying this head unit, be warned, it's probably gonna restart randomly. I've tried running a constant 12 volt power from the battery on a fuse, and it still has the same issue. I've pulled it out and resoldered the harness multiple times, and again, it just keeps having these issues. Let's check out again, the screen works relatively well. The EQ is okay. It's nothing fancy. Has some weird sound settings right here where it makes it sound like crap. And then got your little EQ right here, which again, it's okay. It was the only wireless Apple CarPlay head unit that I could find that had a volume knob that was under $300, maybe $400. If you have any suggestions, please drop them in the comments. I'd love to hear what everybody else is running. Like I said, I'm gonna probably get some sort of Pioneer, the 4200, I think NEX or something like that. Or maybe I'll just end up getting a head unit that doesn't even have a volume knob. I'll have to, you know, end up suffering with the buttons, which I guess it isn't the end of the world, but it's just crazy that you can't really get what you want these days out of a head unit unless you're spending $1,000. But yeah, not really too much of a review. This head unit, again, it's half decent. It just has these random software resets and glitches. I was hoping it was going to do it while we were making this video, but of course it's not. It's going to perform flawlessly while we make this, and then I'm sure later tonight when I go to the gym, it's going to do that weird little restarting crap that it does. Hope y'all have a great week, and God bless. Peace.